Hello, fellow trainers. This is a new type of video for me, but I want to start doing challenges on the channel, so for my first challenge, I decided to see if I could beat Fire Red using only a Vaporeon and only using trainer battles to level up. Remember to hit that like button to show your support, and leave a comment letting me know your opinion of Vaporeon as a Pokemon and other challenges you would like to see me do on the channel. Comments are good for the algorithm, but so is watch time, so be sure to watch to the end. And also consider subscribing as I do daily Pokemon content on the channel. And with that, let's get started with the challenge. So I start the challenge by naming myself James, because James is my name, and then I name my rival JD, because JD is my brother's name. So Oak gets us, we get our first Pokemon, and it is a Vaporeon, and it's female! Our very first time, it's a female, so naturally I have to name her Ariel, after the Disney princess, of course. And as you can see, Ariel here is a rash nature, which is great for special attack. She has Water Absorb as her ability. Pretty nice special attack at 17, and she only knows Tackle, Tail Whip, and Helping Hand. So JD challenges us to a battle. He starts with Bulbasaur because I wanted to make this challenge, you know, a little challenging at least. So we decided to give JD the grass starter. We start with a Tail Whip, and luckily Bulbasaur only really knows Tackle and Growl. So Bulbasaur can't do too much to us. So we just continue to tackle the Bulbasaur, and we wind up beating the Bulbasaur our first time. But nonetheless, Ariel gains 67 experience, but not enough to level up. So we mosey on over this way, and JD stops us. He, doesn't want us going to the league just yet because we don't have enough badges. Whatever. And JD naturally wants to fight us because, that's what siblings do, right? So JD's over here, he sends out a Pidgey, and because there are no trainers between here and Pallet Town to fight, unless we go into Viridian Forest, his Pidgey is level 9, and it starts spamming Sand Attack on us, thus lowering our accuracy. So we try to spam Tail Whip to lower its defense, but it's not working. We're missing tackles, we're missing Tail Whips, and the Pidgey lands a critical hit, thus knocking us out for our first death of the series. So we come back and try to do it again. We manage to defeat the Pidgey. We get to level 6. His Bulbasaur is also level 9. And we manage to pull off a Tailwind, though our accuracy is still lowered. Bulbasaur Leech Seeds us, and that pretty much dooms us because the Bulbasaur winds up getting a crit tackle and killing us. And thanks to the Leech Seed, that also did not help. So we decide to go to Viridian Forest to battle some trainers, to get our level up a little bit. And we managed to get to level 10, which is as far as we can get. As long as we still want to take on JD, that is. I mean, we could technically, not have to battle JD, but we decided to go back and just to give it another try since we are level 10 now. So he's still spamming Sand Attack, but we do manage to take out the Pidgey. And now that we have Sand Attack of our own, we spam Sand Attack on his Bulbasaur. The Bulbasaur nearly takes us out, but luckily we have potions to heal up with. And yeah, after spamming Tail Whip, we are finally able to defeat the Bulbasaur. We break through the accuracy lowering of Sand Attack, and Bulbasaur is gone, so naturally we move on to Brock because that's the only other trainer really left before we can get to Mount Moon. So we spam Sand Attack on the Geodude, and we also spam Tail Whip because Geodude likes to use Defense Curl, and we managed to knock the Geodude out. Unfortunately, he also has an Onix, which naturally resists normal type moves, which we only have Tackle to attack with, so we spam Sand Attack on the Onix, and we also spam Tail Whip as well on the Onix, and we managed to defeat the Onix, thus getting our first Kanto Gym Badge of the series. At level 16, Ariel learns her first Water-type move in Water Gun, thus we get rid of Helping Hand because honestly we're never going to use it. And then Ariel starts wrecking shop. She destroys the Metapod, she destroys the Jigglypuff, she destroys the Weedle, she destroys the Kakuna, and she even destroys an Ekans. And then we go and defeat the scientist who's holding us back from the fossils. And naturally, she destroys all of them with Water Gun in one hit. And then we go and pick up the Helix fossil, but just kidding, we pick up the Dome fossil instead. Next up is our battle with Misty, and luckily she only has a Staryu and a Starmie, both water types. Neither one of them use water type attacks, I assume because the game knows that we have water absorb, but nonetheless, a water gun takes out both Staryu and Starmie, thus we get our second Kanto Gym badge, the Cascade badge, from Misty. Misty also gives us the TM for Water Pulse, which we teach to Ariel, and then heading north, JD stops us once again. And of course, he has an Ivysaur now, so we try the same tactic of using Sand Attack as before, but he knows Sleep Powder this time, and I forgot to pick up Awakenings, so he Leech Seeds us, and the Ivysaur takes us out. The second time around, we pick up some Awakenings and more Super Potions, so we managed to actually defeat the Ivysaur this time because Ivysaur got confused, we used Water Pulse, and thus took it out. And then JD, of course, wants to battle us once again on the SS Anne, so he sends out Pidgeotto first. We use Water Pulse to knock it out, but between this time and last time, we have learned Bite, so now we use Bite on the Ivysaur, and wouldn't you know it, Ariel here gets the flinch. So we Bite again, and Ariel thus takes out the Ivysaur, no problem. And then at level 36, she decides to learn Aurora Beam, which would be super useful against JD's Ivysaur. And I just left this part in because I really wanted you guys to see this. That, yeah. We find the first switch and immediately find the second switch. I don't think I've ever done this in a Pokemon game, ever. Gotten it, and in just one try. But we have Dig back from Cerulean City, so Lieutenant Surge actually ends up not really being that much of a problem because all of his Pokemon are weak to ground types, and, being level 36 and his Pokemon, 18 to 24, we are naturally faster, so we Dig on the Voltorb and the Pikachu and the Raichu, and we take them all out in one hit. Thus, we get our third Kanto badge of the series. The next logical progression in the game is Erica because she is the 4th gym leader, and usually we would be pretty scared of Erica, but we have Aurora Beam and we are level 48 considering we've pretty much beaten every single trainer we have been able to get to so far, and being this much higher than Erica, our Aurora Beam just pretty much wrecks the Victory Bell, it wrecks the Tangela, and it even, spoiler, wrecks her Vileplume in one hit on all of them. So we managed to get our 4th Kanto Gym badge, the Rainbow badge, from Erica, which then sees us going straight to our 5th Kanto Gym badge, which is Koga, or Gym Leader rather. And so we take on Koga, and then, as you could see, we are even at a higher level of 62 because there were more trainers to battle between Koga and Erica, including the whole Team Rocket stuff, And so we are just one-shotting Pokemon after Pokemon after Pokemon, except for this Muck, which obviously did not fall to a single Water Pulse, but it does fall to a Surf, or rather it would have fallen, to a one-hit KO Surf. But anyways, he sends out a Weezing, we use Surf, Surf takes the Weezing out, and we've acquired our 5th Kanto Gym badge. And then once we get to Saffron City, JD decides that he's going to try his hand again at battling us. So JD is here, he sends out a Pidgeot since, he has one now. We're level 67, so we use Aurora Beam on the bird, and Pidgeot does not survive at all. And JD, even now, JD has a Venusaur, so we use Aurora Beam on the Venusaur, and, Grass being weak to Ice and all, and we have pretty high special attack. The Venusaur also falls to an Aurora Beam, and then, he sends out a Gyarados, because he has one now, so we use Bite on the Gyarados, and somehow the Gyarados manages to live. It uses Dragon Rage on us, but, we could take up to 7 Dragon Rages before fainting. So we use Bite a second time, and Gyarados falls. And then the rest of JD's team can't handle the strength that is Ariel, the Vaporeon. So he sends out a Growlithe, which intimidates us, sure, but we use Water Pulse, which drowns the puppy. And then his Alakazam falls to a super effective Bite. And that's JD beaten. So we take on Sabrina next for our 6th Kanto Gym Badge. And naturally, her whole team is just, going to fall to Bite. And I've realized that, taking on only trainers is totally doable in this game. Because, look at us, we are level 69. Give me a hashtag nice in the comment section for that. If you don't mind, that is. And even her Alakazam falls to a Bite. So, I think it's time to move on to Blaine. Which, let's be honest, we all knew that Blaine was going to fall to a Vaporeon, right? Because I just pretty much surf and drown his whole team out. And I'm talking like this battle took less than 30 seconds. Sped up, of course. But we move on to Giovanni, who is the final gym leader in Kanto. Spoilers, if you didn't know. And his whole team is ground type, which is also weak to water. So we use a combination of Water Pulse and Surf to drown out his entire team. So the leader of Team Rocket basically gets defeated single-handedly by a level 80 Vaporeon. My goodness, Ariel, you are just way too strong. You're so strong, Ariel. So strong. And thus, that's all the Kanto Gym Badges. And we decide to go to the Pokemon League, but JD, has to stop us once again to battle us where he defeated us for the first time in the series. So, JD's over here. He sends out his Pidgeot, who is level 47. I will give it to him, but we are still level 80, so we use Aurora Beam on the Pidgeot. Pidgeot does not survive because Pidgeot cannot survive the ice. Thus, we use Aurora Beam on the level 53 Venusaur because, like I said, grass is weak to ice, right? And the Venusaur lives! It literally lives, and it uses Razor Leaf, and oh my goodness, I could not believe it. He got a crit, he put us in the yellow. I thought for sure he was taking us out, but he didn't. So we use Aurora Beam once again on the Venusaur, which I don't know, JD, if you're watching this, I don't know why you didn't use a potion on your Venusaur. Why? Why would you not do that? Huh? Why? Why, JD? But nonetheless, we managed to take out the rest of his team. The Gyarados sets up Rain Dance, and, he sends out a Growlithe. So we use, a Rain Dance boosted Surf on the Growlithe and the Alakazam. We managed to get our way to the Elite Four. Thus, here is Ariel. Look at those stats. My goodness. Surf, Bite, Aurora Beam, and Water Pulse as her final moves. We decided not to teach her any other TMs. And first up is Lorelei, which honestly, I forgot that Lorelei uses a combination of ice and water type Pokemon. So we're level 83. Lorelei is level 52 with her Dugong. So we use Bite. And, Bite does half damage to the Dugong. So we use Bite once again, and it takes the Dugong out. And then we use Bite on the Cloyster, Bite on the Slowbro. We use Bite on the Jinx, and Bite on the Lapras, and thus Lorelei is defeated. And next up is Bruno, and I'm pretty sure everyone knows how this battle is going to go because he starts with an Onix, so we use Water Pulse, and Onix is 4 times weak to water, so naturally Onix just falls to a Water Pulse. And then Hitmonchan over here, we use Water Pulse on it, it survives, but it gets, he gets confused, but two more Water Pulses takes him out, so we decided to use Surf on the Hitmonlee, takes him out in one shot. Surf also takes Machamp out in one shot, and his last Onix also goes out in one shot. And then we battle Agatha over here, and she's a Gengar, so we bite it. And then we wind up using Aurora Beam on the Golbat, which also falls in one shot. The Arbok cannot survive a Surf. The Gengar cannot survive a Bite. And her last Pokemon, a Haunter, also cannot survive a Bite. So we move on to Lance. Lance uses Dragon-type Pokemon, mostly. And Dragon types are weak to Ice, but his Gyarados is not a Dragon. It's sort of a Dragon, so we use Bite on it to take the Gyarados out. And, Dragonair over here falls to one Aurora Beam. His second Dragonair falls to Aurora Beam. And his Dragonite falls to an Aurora Beam. And Aerodactyl cannot survive a Surf. Thus, we move on to JD, who, surprise, is the champion. But will he be champion for much longer? Let's find out. Pidgeot over here, naturally, always falls to Ice-type moves, so we use Aurora Beam. We are level 85. By this point, we've battled every single trainer in the game. Literally. So we are level 85. His level 63 Venusaur comes out. Remembering that Venusaur did survive Aurora Beam last time, I'm a little scared because he does survive, but JD ends up using Growth. And then, on top of that, the Citrus Berry pops, which takes Venusaur out of the red and into the yellow. Thus, JD does not use a full restore, and we use Aurora Beam a second time, and the Venusaur drops. And then, you know, he sends out his Alakazam, so we use Bite on it. Alakazam drops. Rhydon drops to a Surf. And JD's Gyarados, which sometimes we have problems with. We use Bite. We get a crit because Ariel's just a badass like that. But, you know, Gyarados is in the red, so JD finally uses his first full restore of the series. So we use Aurora Beam, and then we use Bite a second time. Gyarados drops, and Arcanine, trying to defeat us, uses Extreme Speed. We use a Water Pulse, and Arcanine just cannot handle the water. So, yeah. Arcanine also drops, and we become the Kanto champion. Yes. And remember to leave a comment letting me know what other Pokemon challenges you would like to see me do on the channel. And with that, I hope you have a wonderful day. May Arceus bless you. Ooh, look at that time. 28 hours. It took us 28 hours to do this challenge. And goodbye.